Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live and my page by page reading and commentary of the Bible, Modern English Version. Now, today we are going to be going through Genesis 25, 26, and 27. Where we left off, Sarah, aka Sarai, Abraham's wife, passed away. Abraham decided, okay, my son Isaac might be grieving, time for him to get married. So he sent his servant to his homeland to find Isaac a wife, which the servant did. And now today in Genesis 25th, we're going, or 25, we're going to be going into the death of Abraham. So it does appear that Abraham may have realized that he didn't have much time left, which is why he decided to send for a wife, who is Rebecca, for his son Isaac. And Abraham lived quite the life. He definitely did. He had his first son with his wife, his first wife, Sarah, at the age of about 100 years old. It's important to remember that the individuals in the Bible do live exceedingly long lives for the most part. In the beginning, Adam lived well beyond 900 years old, and here we have Abraham living beyond 100 years old. So let's go ahead and get started. And one thing that I did want to touch on in regards to yesterday, and something that it was noted that Abraham said in regards to finding a wife for his son Isaac. Now, some people may disagree with me on this, but it just crossed my mind. We almost see, in a sense, essentially one of the first forms of racism within the Bible, within Abraham, when he makes it known to his son Isaac that he does not want his son to marry a Canaanite woman. Now, racism does not always have to do with skin color. It has to do with what are considered ethnic groups, quote unquote, races. All right. And keep in mind, we're at the beginning of humanity in the Bible. But it was very important to Abraham for his son to have a wife from essentially his own family. Extended family, yes. His wife turned out to essentially be his cousin, but still from within his homeland group. And what are races or ethnic groups today? Extended families. So, should racism really be called familyism? Hmm, something to think about. It was just a thought that crossed my mind late last night. Okay, so let's get started. The death of Abraham. Then Abraham took another wife, whose name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimron, Jokshan, Medan, Median, Ishbak, and Shuah. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Leshuites or Letushites, and the Leumites. The sons of Median were Aphan, Aphir, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were children of Keturah. I wonder if she had daughters too, because keep in mind the Bible often does only mention the sons. Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines, Abraham gave gifts. And while he was still living, he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the east country. These are the years of Abraham's life that he lived, 175 years old. That's pretty good, 175 years old. Then Abraham breathed his last, and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. And he was gathered to his people. His sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, east of Mamre, the field that Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with his wife, Sarah. After the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac. Isaac lived at Beer Lahai Roi. So Abraham has passed away. His two first sons, Isaac, who he had with Sarah, and Ishmael, who he had with Hagar, buried him next to his wife. And now let's move on to Ishmael, sons of Ishmael. These are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's maidservant, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and then Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names, by their towns and their settlements, 12 princes, according to their peoples. These were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. Again, a pretty long life there. He breathed his last and died when he was gathered to his people. They lived from Hivala as far as Shur, which is east of Egypt, as you go toward Assyria. He died in the presence of all his relatives. The births of Jacob and Esau. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah as his wife, the daughter of Bethuel, and Bethuel the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. Now Isaac pleaded with the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord granted his plea, and Rebekah his wife conceived. But the children struggled together with her, and she said, "If all is well, why am I like this?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. Then the Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples will be separated from your body. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will survive the younger." So this is interesting. Um, it appears that Isaac's wife, Rebekah, had similar problems conceiving, just as his mother, Sarah, aka Sarai, did. And again, I'm just wondering, from a biological standpoint, could the conception issues have to do with these women marrying men who are too closely related to them, which may be why later on God was like, hey, let's put a stop to this incest business because it just, I think we're looking at the tail end of when God was like, well, maybe this is okay because people were still biologically relatively new and pure at that point. But it was getting to where there were enough people on the planet to where you could create more genetic diversity. So, I have a feeling that some of these upper crust families, which is who the Bible does tend to fixate on, wanted to keep the wealth within the family, but by doing so, they were having the conception problems, which strangely is something that is seen today within certain families. So let's continue. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people will be separated from your body. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will survive the younger. Now, when the time of her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. After that, his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. So the boys grew. Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, while Jacob was a calm man, living in tents. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Esau sells his birthright. Now, Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was famished. So Esau said to Jacob, "Please feed me some of that red stew, for I am famished." Therefore his name was called Edom. Then Jacob said, "First, sell me your birthright." Esau said, "Look, I am about to die. Of what use is the birthright to me?" Then Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." So he swore to him, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew. Then he ate and drank, arose, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. That's kind of weird. So you have these 2 brothers. Esau was a man about town, it sounds like, whereas Jacob was a mama's boy. And over a meal, Esau is like, "Fine, I don't have to be seen as the firstborn. You can be seen as that," because that was so important to Jacob. Very interesting, kind of funny. All right, let's move forward. Isaac and Abimelek. So we got Abimelek coming back in. Abimelek is starting to become one of my favorite characters in the Bible because Abimelek would not allow himself to be blamed for something that he was blameless for. And I'm talking about when God was worried that Abimelek was going to take Sarah as his wife and have relations with her. He didn't do it. And he made certain that the public knew he didn't do it by making a big display of giving them, I believe it was 400 shekels of silver. So here we go. Isaac and Abimelek. There was a famine in the land, and in addition to the first famine that was during the days of Abraham, Isaac went to Abimelek, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. The Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land of which I tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you. For I will give you and your descendants all these lands, and I will fulfill the oath which I swore to Abraham, your father. I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of the heavens, and I will give your descendants all these lands. By your descendants, all the nations of earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So Isaac lived in Gerar. All right, so Isaac's in Gerar. He's told not to go into Egypt, so something was going on in Egypt. I just have the feeling that there were issues of some sort of virus or disease at that point in time. Um, and when I say virus or disease, I'm not necessarily talking physical. Could be spiritual, could be psychological. Who knows? Uprisings, things could be going on, but God didn't want his favored group to mix with Egyptians at that particular time. The men of the place asked him about his wife, and he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say, "She is my wife," thinking the men of the place might kill me on account of Rebecca because she is beautiful in appearance. So he's going the same, he's taking the same tactic as his father, because these men have exceedingly beautiful wives, at least in the eyes of the people of Gerar. And in order to protect their wives, they say, "Hey, this is my sister," because apparently in the culture of Gerar, um, if a woman's brother is alive and guarding her, they don't mess with her. Okay, so where are we? When he had been there a long time, Abimelek, the king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac caressing Rebekah, his wife. Abimelek summoned Isaac and said, "She is surely your wife. So how is it you said, 'She is my sister'?" Now keep in mind, Abimelek went through this before with Isaac's father, Abraham. Then Isaac said to him, "Because I said I might die on account of her." Abimelek said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might have easily lain with your wife, and you might have brought guilt upon us." Again, Abimelek went through this before with Abraham. So he's a little bit upset about this, but this is what Abraham taught Isaac. So is Isaac really to blame? Well, let's find out. Abimelek charged all his people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife will surely be put to death." Okay, so now Isaac and Rebekah are under Abimelek's protection, most likely because Abimelek knew his dad. When Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, the Lord blessed him. The man became rich and continued to prosper until he became very wealthy. For he had possessions of flocks and herds, and a great number of servants, so that the Philistines envied him. For the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, by filling them with dirt. Oh no, plain dirty, trying to stop Isaac from prospering. All right. Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much more powerful than we are." So Isaac departed from there and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Isaac dug again wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. He called their names after the names his father called them. All right, so Isaac's doing well. He's been trained by his father, Abraham, who was like super businessman back then. He sets up basically his own city and he starts building, dig some wells and everything. Abimelech protected him and his wife and his group for a while, but once Isaac was okay on his own, Abimelech was like, "All right, go out there on your own." So Abimelech's a pretty good guy. I like Abimelech so far. So far, my two favorite Bible characters, Sarah, aka Sarai, and Abimelech. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found a well of running water there, the herdsmen of Gerar contended with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, "The water is ours." So he called the name of the well Esek, because they contended with him. They dug another well and quarreled over that too. He called the name of it Sitnah. Then he moved away from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called the name of it Rehoboth, for he said, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land." So there's lots of war over the water. Oh, it's always something, isn't it? It's always something. Today it's oil, in the past it was water. He went up from there to Beersheba. The Lord appeared to him that same night and said, I am the God of Abraham, your father. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. He built an altar here, called on the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants dug a well. Then Abimelek went to him from Gerar, along with Ahuzeth, one of his friends, and Phicol, the commander of his army. Isaac said to them, Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw plainly that the Lord was with you. So we said, Let there now be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, so that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now blessed of the Lord. And hello, Dealin, welcome. And just to clarify here, this is interesting that Isaac had the perception that he was hated because he and his group, his people, were sent away. But from my perspective, no, he wasn't hated. It's just that he kind of outgrew Abimelech and he had his own group. Abimelech realized this. I think Abimelech kind of acted as a surrogate father to Isaac, or at least a guide, since Abraham, just passed away and everything. So Isaac is still young in comparison to Abimelech and his associates, because Abimelech was more so of Abraham's age, and Isaac is Abraham's son. All right. So Abimelech explains, Look, we sent you away in peace. You're now blessed by the Lord. So then he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. They rose up early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. That same day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. Esau was 40 years old when he took as wives Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they brought grief to Isaac and to Rebekah. They brought grief. What did they do? What did they do? I guess we'll be getting into that. But that's interesting. So Esau took two wives, not just one. Not just one. All right, so let's continue. Isaac blesses Jacob. This is Genesis 27. When Isaac was old, and in his eyes were so weak that he could not see, he called Esau, his oldest son, and said to him, My son. And he answered, Here I am. He said, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare for me a savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die. All right. So Isaac wants a really good meal before he goes. That's interesting. Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esau, his son. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for wild game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, I heard your father speak to your brother Esau, saying, Bring me wild game and prepare for me savory food, that I may eat and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now, therefore, my son, listen to me as I command you. Go now to the flock and get me 2 choice young goats, so that I may prepare from them savory food for your father, such as he loves. Then you will take it to your father, so that he may eat, and so that he may bless you before his death. But Jacob said to his mother, Rebekah, Look, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a man of smooth skin. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I will seem to him as a deceiver, and I will bring a curse on myself and not a blessing. So, this is interesting. So, in other words, Jacob is a little bit insecure and maybe even a little intimidated and fearful of his father because he's not his father's favorite son. Meanwhile, Rebecca, Isaac's wife, is trying to make sure there's some sort of equality between the two boys before Isaac passes on. His mother said to him, "Let your curse be upon me, my son. Only listen to me and go get them for me." So she's saying, look, stop being fearful. If your dad curses you, I'll take the blame for it. It won't be upon you. So just do as I'm telling you to do. Because Rebecca, the wife, really is trying to create some sort of equality between her sons before her husband passes on. And even in modern day, you see this kind of situation in families. Often you have one child who is more favored by a parent than another. And it must be hard for parents of multiple children when it comes to favoritism. I am not a parent, so I would not know. But I've seen my parents struggle with that. I've seen other parents struggle with that. And I guess that's just a part of human nature. All right. So Jacob goes. He went and got them, meaning the livestock, and brought them to his mother. Then his mother prepared savory food such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best clothes belonging to her oldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. Then she put the skins of the young goats in his hands and on the smooth parts of his neck. She put the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob. Oh my God. So she's trying to disguise Jacob as Esau. Keep in mind, Isaac has failing sight. So she's thinking, okay, maybe for once, Isaac will be nice to mama's boy if he just thinks in his old years, maybe Isaac's even senile, that Jacob is Esau. Gosh, this is crazy. He, meaning Jacob, came to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" And Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done just as you asked me. Please arise, sit, and eat of my wild game, so that your soul may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" So Isaac is hip to what's going on here. And he said, "Because the Lord your God brought it to me." Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near, so I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." Jacob went near to his father, Isaac, and he felt him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him because his hands were hairy, just like his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. He asked, "Are you really my son Esau?" And he said, "I am." So he's lying to his dad on his deathbed. This is horrible. He said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's wild game, so that my soul may bless you." And he brought it near to him, meaning the meal, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. His father Isaac said to him, "Come near now and kiss me, my son." He came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his clothing and blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field, which the Lord has blessed. Therefore, may God give you of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and new wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you." As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had barely gone from the presence of his father, Isaac, Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. He also had prepared savory food and brought it to his father, and said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's wild game, so that your soul may bless me." Isaac said to Isaac, his father, said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who? Where then is he who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed." So Isaac has figured it out. Poor Isaac. He's old, he's feeble, he can't see. His wife Rebecca tricked him so that her favorite son Jacob could finally get some attention. Oh, this is some drama. This is the biblical drama. This is what I'm talking about. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, oh my father." He said, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing." So he can't give another blessing, really? He can't give another one? I guess not. I guess not. It's in the culture. Only one blessing. That's all you got. Oh, gosh. Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplemented me these two times. He took away my birthright." Well, that was your fault, though, Esau. You were hungry and you didn't value your birthright enough. And now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Then Isaac answered to Esau, "I have made him your lord, and I have given to him all his brothers as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. What can I now do for you, my son?" And Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, oh my father." Then Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Isaac his father answered and said to him, "Your dwelling shall be away from the fatness of the earth, and away from the dew of heaven from above. You will live by your sword, and will serve your brother. When you become restless, you will break his yoke from your neck." Oh, this is horrible. Oh, not a fan of Jacob or his mother Rebecca, favoring the younger one. Mm, mm. But you know what? Esau should have paid more attention. Maybe he shouldn't have been such a man about town. Maybe he should have looked around and realized that his younger brother had it out for him. Keep that in mind, people out there with siblings. Even though you may care about your sibling, love your sibling, sometimes love causes us to underestimate our siblings and the hate that our siblings may embody for us, or jealousy or envy. It happens all the time. Sometimes we don't realize within ourselves how others see us and how they may envy us and how far they'll go to smite and harm us. It's happened to me a lot. It really has, when I really think about it. So that was a good biblical story. I didn't know that story. That's why I'm really enjoying this page by page reading of the Bible with those of you out there who care to join me and listen. Okay, so let's continue. Jacob escapes from Esau. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. So it's all about this blessing now that Jacob attained via deceit. Okay, so anything that happens to Jacob, from my perspective, he brought it on himself when it comes to Esau. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." Not surprised. Not surprised. Again, Jacob brought all this on himself. These words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, now keep in mind, Jacob is mama's boy, the favorite. Your brother Esau consoles himself regarding you by planning to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, listen to me and get up and flee to Laban, my brother in Haran. Stay with him a few days until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you turns away, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and get you from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Okay. So the mom knows what she did. It's really all the mom's fault. It's all Rebecca's fault. She shouldn't have had favoritism over her sons. Okay. And now she's trying to hide her son from the eldest one because of her doing. Another instance of a woman being kind of evil in the Bible. The first notable one was Eve. I don't really feel, I feel like Sarah, was kind of saintly when she was even willing to give up her maidservant as, basically a surrogate, a womb, so that her husband, Abraham, could have one son before she was able to conceive. She shouldn't have done that, though. And now here we have Rebecca, who took away her eldest son's blessing. She should not have done that. She should not have done that. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am tired of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, such as these, who are the daughters of the land, what good will my life be for me? Then Isaac called Jacob and blessed him. Then he charged him and said to him, you must not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take of yourself a wife from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, so that you may become a multitude of your people. May he give you the blessing of Abraham to you and your descendants with you, that you may inherit the land where you are a stranger, which God gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. Okay, so Isaac kind of starts making things right when it comes to Esau by sending away Jacob. Okay. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take for himself a wife from there, and that he blessed him and gave him a charge, saying, you must not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father, and his mother had gone to Padan Aram. Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please Isaac his father. So Esau went to Ishmael and took as his wife Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son. the sister of Nebaioth, in addition to the wives he had. Hmm. Jacob's dream at Bethel. Then Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there all night because the sun had set. He took one of the stones, that place, and put it under his head, and lay down in that place to sleep. He dreamed and saw a ladder set up on the earth, with the top of it reaching to heaven. The angels of God were ascending and descending on it. The Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, and to you will I give it, and to your descendants. All right, so he's having a dream about seeing God, and he's learning about what God wants to give to him. Your descendants will be like the dust of earth, and you will spread abroad to the west and to the east, and to the north and to the south. And in you and in your descendants, all the families of the earth will be blessed. Remember, I am with you, and I will protect you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. Jacob awoke out of his sleep, and he said, Surely the Lord is in this place. I did not know it. He was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put under his head, set it up as a pillar, and poured oil on top of it. He called the name of that place Bethel, but previously the name of the city was called Luz. Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me and will protect me in the way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I return to my father's house in peace, then the Lord will be my God. Then this stone, which I have set for a pillar, will be the house of God. From all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. All right, so Jacob basically had a supernatural experience when it came to that dream. And he decided that where he was sacred ground. So it sounds like he essentially set up a sort of a church. So we actually went into Genesis 28 today. I didn't mean to read that long, but Genesis 28 just kind of segued so well, or Genesis 27 segued into Genesis 28 so well. And I did want to find out what happened with Jacob. So we found out. We found out. I think today was a very interesting Bible reading and commentary. That situation with Rebecca. That made me laugh. That made me laugh, yet it was such an interesting story when it came to sibling rivalry, favoritism in families, what parents will do to try to create a level of equality, what they will do when they realize they made a mistake with their children and how they've treated their children. Very interesting information there. I'll tell you, the Bible, it really does seem like a nice instruction book when it comes to how to live life, how to raise a family, how to treat yourself and treat others. So, something to think about. Lots of love and hate and all kinds of shades of gray in between there within the Bible. So, I'm going to get going. I have quite a few things I need to do today. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I do thank those of you who listened with me and who are reading along with me. If you need access to a Bible to read along, guess what? You can get it for free through the App Store on iPhone or the Google Play Store on Android. I happen to, let's see, what's the name of this app? I think it's just called the Bible. Yep, just Bible. Just type in Bible. You'll find it. You can download it for free. I am reading from the Modern English version of the Bible. So, you know, don't sit there and act like there's an excuse not to read the Bible when you can get it for free nowadays. So, tomorrow we'll pick up with Genesis 29. The objective is to get through Genesis by the end of March so that we can do our Book of Enoch audiobook listening party. Take care, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.